We gonna give it. I wish I had some music. Like I just really want to have some music. Let me see. Do do. We just gonna give a few moments here to give some people some time. Hey, Salina.
Hey, Leah, we back at it.
Right. I be forgetting we live because I be like, we just be doing this. We this our normal. This is our
It
regular
is.
degular. Our regular degular.
It is. It's our regular. It's our regular conversation.
Right. Let me share this on my page. So give me a
Yeah, me
second.
too.
This remind me of like you ever like get on somebody's page that be like about to go live and they be just staring intently. Like they be just waiting for people to come on. They be looking real creepy. I be like, why you looking like that? Like just say what you need to say. Like I don't want to be that person. So
No, I don't either. I don't
let
either.
me share this on my page. Do, 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 do.
I like this little restrain.
Isn't it cool?
This is pretty cool.
It is. Okay, where we at? Oh, here we go. Oh, I can't do it there.
Isn't it cool? This is pretty cool.
Girl.
It is.
It's on my merge with Liv. Okay, so let me do it there. I really wish we had some background music. I think that would be so cool.
I think we should get some next time.
I think so
Let me
too.
do it there.
Share this there. Okay, bam. Okay, it's 2:38. Where do people at? All right. Anywho, I'm sure that they'll come. If they don't come in now, they'll come in through. Um, they'll come in
Yeah.
after the replay for the replay. All right. So hey everybody or whomever is watching, let us know who you are, so that you can see. I'm going to put the restream link. If you haven't given access to restream, I'm going to put it in the chat. Oh, I don't need it for YouTube. Let me put it in all the chats. Welcome today. We're doing a real quick pop up message. Not even a message. It's not a message. I don't want people thinking they about to get their edges snatched because it ain't that kind of show today.
No, it's not that
Um,
type of message.
right.
Not
Okay.
yet.
So let's
Not yet.
not say we never know, right? We never know. So all right. So let's talk for a moment, Selena.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Um, I know we're gonna. So we're doing. We decided to do it. We didn't really decide to do anything, like, but we agreed that we came into the agreement of doing this Women's Month, this Embrace Women's Month challenge, right?
Yes.
We had an amazing time at the Identity Unlocked event
Hmm.
back in November,
Yes.
and I mean it was fire.
It was. We had an amazing time. The ladies that came out was open. They were looking. They were searching to start to begin the journey of doing the work of learning who they are and their identity. And so over the past few months, we have missed y'all. We just been wanting to hear from the Lord on what's next. We just don't want
Right,
to keep putting out events and putting out things, but we want to be intentional on how we can come back to support you all, to know how we can take you all and help take you all to the next
right.
level.
That's right. Yeah, and I think the one thing about that event was that not only did it stretch us, right? Because we're so used to doing things in the well, not me, not you per se, but me. I'm very used to virtual space and coaching.
Hmm.
But we had a room full of women who came up hungry and ready to
Yeah.
understand or have their identity unlocked, and just the different testimonials or the different moments that we experienced there was just
Hmm.
really phenomenal. So I'm with you. Like it was so necessary to really just wait and hear God on what the next thing to do, because it's so easy to jump back up and do something
Yeah.
all over again, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so with this Embrace Challenge, well, one is Women's Month, so happy Women's Month, right?
Yes.
Um, but two, I kept hearing personally, embrace, embrace. And so when I think about embrace, I think about, and I'll go over the definition really quickly. And the definition means to accept or support,
Hmm.
include or contain. An act of holding someone closely in arms. That's not necessarily what we're talking about, but it's an act of accepting, And the one thing that I think we've both recognized, and we'll go a little bit into kind of why we work together, is that most people struggle with accepting, embracing their identity. And if we know anything about the time we're in right now, like I just really sense heavily God wanting us to really know who we are in Him. Like if we don't, because if you don't
Absolutely.
know who you are in Him, and even and let's, well, I'll stick with the knowing who you are in Him first, right? If you don't
Hmm.
know who you are, you'll begin to fall for anything, right? You'll begin to
That's
fall,
it.
and you begin to, you know, with everything that's coming, not really understand what
Hmm.
your position is, know your authority, know the posture. But then
Hmm.
on the other terms, really knowing how what your contribution is, because we're all a part of the body. He's given us all an assignment to do. And so I really sense that heavily of him wanting us to be, you know, really just in a place of understanding. I don't know who that is. Basically, if you could just put your name down there, but hello and good
Hey.
afternoon. Um, and him really wanting us to know um who we are in him, right? So that's where that whole
Absolutely.
embrace from. Yeah.
And then also, and but only to know who you are, you have to know who God is, right? You have to know who He is, because we are image bearers of Him, right? How can we
Mhm.
bear His image if you don't even know who He is first? So
Ex-
knowing who God is, what is the characteristics of God, the fact that God formed, filled, created us in the beginning of time to with this authority and dominion over the earth, like, and you have to know, you
Right.
learn who he is, and in that you know who you are. So that is a big part of embracing who you are,
That's right.
or
That's
beginning
right.
to embrace who you are.
Right. And it's and when I and actually it's funny because when I think about, now that I think about embrace, even as you said that, it made me think about even as we're a part of TGS and stewardship, you know, embracing something, hope, grabbing something, stewarding it. And so this is a matter of stewarding and embracing your identity, who he has called you to, and to what you just said. You can't, it's hard to do that. It's hard to come into the fullness of that if you don't know who he is and know who he's called you and know what he's called you. And so a little bit about let's talk about the event really quickly and kind of how it was ran, how it was structured.
Look, y'all, I'm not that smart, right? Liv is to me the creative genius behind this whole
Girl,
identity unlocked. I'm just a willing servant. And so she had
girl,
this amazing idea of doing this challenge. And we have so many wonderful things lined up, like 2 in-person events where we just come together. We're going to pour into each other. We'll have lunch brunch. We'll see how that works. We'll just spend time together and just really hear the hearts of you ladies. Like, what are some of the struggles that you are having with your identity? How are you having a hard time with walking bold in the assignment and the calling that God has for you? So we have quite a few things that, and I'll let Liv touch on some too, that are lined up. But we have in person, then I'll do 15-minute counseling sessions with people. So if you want 15 minutes, I'm calling them clarity sessions, just to begin to give you a little clarity on a direction that you can
yeah,
go. And Liv will do 2 coaching
yeah,
sessions. And then we're going to do some lives like this where we'll be together or separate, and just bringing an encouraging word to help you to continue on this journey of identity.
yeah. So let me go back a little bit because there are some other amazing benefits of it, but I want to really give some clarity as to what this challenge is for. Yes, it's feeding off of the event we did in November, but it's not it's not just for the individuals that came to the event back in November, right? This actual challenge is for uh faith filled women, or if you're not faith, if you don't know who you are, right? If you don't know where you stand in that, we are open to everybody to come in to begin to really get a good understanding of your identity, and not just identity in God, as far as, you know, oh, I'm fearlessly and wonderfully made, yes, but also what he's called you to do in the different strongholds that keep you hindered from actually walking bold. And so what Salina said, I was the mastermind, but what she did not tell y'all is that she is cold. She's cold at counseling. And the reason that we actually began to partner is because when I'm a coach and she's a counselor, and I was finding that I was working with different women, and they I would go through all this amazing stuff. They would have all these amazing ideas, and I would begin to see that they wouldn't implement what they were doing. I would begin to see that they would like shrink back, or they would put down, the things that God has assigned them to do. And I was like, what is it? And then God revealed to me that they're struggling with all these heart matters, all these mind issues. And so he really began to like put me and Selena together, because I
Yeah.
recognized that it was essential for, in order for you to really walk in your identity as who he's called, what he's called you to do in the earth, is, as your assignment, as your
Hmm.
calling. You have to have your mind has to be right. You can't
Hmm.
be just vacillating with who you are. You can't have all these different heart issues, and there can't be all these different hindrances holding you back, because you're always going to put down what he's put in your hands if you don't understand who you are, right? And so that's why me and Selena began to come together, because I care much more. I'm a coach, and so before anything, and I care much more about your mind. I care much more about your heart, and how foundational you are and anchored you are on God, and who He's called and what He's called you, and whose you are, than you actually going out there into the world. Like, that's great. That's what I'm always going to do at my heart. My heart is to build people and to launch them out into the things God has called them to do, and give them the confidence, the clarity, and the creativity to do that. But you can't do that if you ain't right, right? You can't do that if your heart ain't right. You can't do that if your mind ain't right. And so we're marrying the two worlds together,
Yeah.
right? Right, Selena? Am I
Yeah,
on?
no, you right on point. That makes me so excited, because I remember at a season when I was teaching in Wife Power, and one day I got on a live and I told the ladies, I said, "Listen, we provide all these wonderful tools and teachings about marriage, just like you do with branding and building up women." But if you find yourself in the same perpetual cycle, if you find yourself not being able to get unstuck, we need to figure out what that is. And that's when the Lord started to talk to me about matters of the heart. Like, if people are dealing with feeling like they're not good enough to be a
Right,
part of this ministry, to start this ministry, then that's going to be a barrier for them. So, how do
right,
we help to get them past feeling like, to know that, one, that's a lie, and two, the truth is that
right,
God is giving you an assignment in the earth, and He's giving you everything that you need to fulfill that
right,
assignment. And you are good enough, because if you know your identity, you're an image bearer of God, and we already know He good enough. He way more than good enough.
right,
So, but to get to live, we got to get you through some of your matters of the heart, so then you can walk bold in your
right.
assignment.
Right. We got to get you feeling whole. And to know that there's nothing that needs to be added to you. That, like Selena said, that everything is already on the inside of you. There is Christ in you. So therefore, if you have Christ in you, if you have the Spirit of living God in you, you don't need nothing. Nothing that you're looking for is external from you. It's already there. And I know how the world would say, I have, the world be saying it on another level, but we talk about the Christ on the inside of us. Ephesians 3:20 says he will do more exceeding and abundantly above all things that you ever could hope for, right? But then 21 says, according to the power that worketh within you. And so, therefore, there's a power in you already that God has given you access to. And we need to get you to a place where you understand that power. We need to get you to the place where you understand that you are a child of God, that you are fearlessly and wonderfully made, that you are an heir of the kingdom, that you have a mantle, and you have a mandate, and you have a mission, because you are a child of His. And now, because you have that understanding, now you can go freely with the freedom that Jesus gave you to go and walk bold in the things He has called you to do. And right, and I get it, right? It's a interesting thing, because I don't ever want people to think it's about you. It's not about you. It
Mm-mm,
has nothing to do with you. It
mm-mm.
has every single thing to do with the people that's assigned to you and called to you.
That's
There's
it.
some things your pastor. I'm sorry, Selena, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying
Oh,
that's it right there.
yeah,
People
there's some
call it.
things and people that your pastor is not going to be able to touch. There's some ears that your pastor's voice, or your apostle, your prophet's voice, is going to be you. God chose you. You the one. Yes, you're the one. And so we need to get you to that foundational place that you're consistent, and you're not continuing to pick up and put down. And if we could be honest, we've dealt with it, right? We deal with it too. But this is a
Mhm.
community And I'll say this, we are forging forward in the things that God has called us to do. And
Hmm.
because we have been through it, we can automatically identify and see the signs that you're
Yep.
dealing with and you're struggling with, because we've been there. The enemy's always going to be after your identity, because he doesn't want you to go more, because if you go out and do the things he's called you to do, then more than likely you're going to draw people back to God. And if you draw people back to
Hmm.
God, then there's people that he can't get. So that's why this identity is so necessary, you understanding.
That's good. When you know your identity, you become a threat.
That's it.
Become a threat. He got a
That's
nuclear nuke. He has a neutral, tries to neutralize the threat. So as soon as you know who you are, he's coming after you immediately because he doesn't want you. Like we can go around and we could do ministry all day long, but as long as you don't know who you are, you're not a threat. But once you do, he doesn't have a stronghold to keep you. And so that's just why it's so important that we work together to help
that's
women
right.
to learn who they are.
That's right. And let me just add this to what Selena just said. When you don't know who you are because you have not been grafted in the identity of God, that leaves an open door to the enemy, because he's like, oh, they don't even know who they are. It's you. It makes you an easy target. It makes you an easy target because you don't know and you
Yep.
haven't embraced it. And so that's what this month is about. And also, let me just say this. There's so many things that I know that me and Selena have planned, because I know there's gonna be different people that are different levels. And so I am gonna be giving y'all business tips, right? I am gonna be helping y'all get some understanding of what's next, getting some foundational pieces there. But that's not, and that might not be in teaching, that might just be in the resources that we provide in the group, because everybody's not going to be at the same level.
Right.
But the foundational piece is really just having, it's really to help encourage you all women to get up. This has been a real interesting season, right, Selena? Like, where we've been, many of us have been hit like punches in the gut.
Yeah.
And I'm coming, I know for me personally, I'm coming for the woman who knew, who had an understanding, but she sat down. She got down and now she need to
That's
get
so
back
good.
up. Like, get back up. Let me help you get back up. Let me help you push. Let me help you push as you
Mhm.
breathe out, as you inhale, exhale. Let me help you push that thing out. Even if that thing out is you, right?
Yep, that's
Help you
so
just to
good.
pause.
And as Liv says, she wants to help you to get back up. Me, I want to help to get you all the way, like getting you off the floor from the jump. Like let me
That's
help
it.
get you off the floor from the jump, and I don't want you to go back down. So I want to
That's
help
right.
to keep you up. Now that doesn't mean you ain't gonna be hit. That does not mean that you won't have adversity. That does not mean that you won't go through trials and tribulations, because that's guaranteed. But what it does say is I won't go back that way. I'm not going to go back to that because I got the root of that. Rejection is
That's
not going to hold me. No, I'm delivered from that. And
that's
so you're not going to go back. You may be at a place, and that's what the community is important. We want to be here to continue to uplift you. We want to
right.
continue to be here to be your cheerleader, to
That's
let you
right.
know, like we're very transparent. We ain't arrived. You don't arrive to this. It's a journey. And so we
It's a
want
journey.
to travel the journey with you. Just all we're doing is sharing our experiences, what God has brought us through, so that we can until turn around and sow that back
Mhm.
into other women that's just like us.
Right. And offering that community space for those that don't feel like they have that safety net to speak. There's so many people that have been shrinking and have felt muzzled and have felt muted. There was a young lady who had reached out to me the other day and was like, "Man, I just wish I had a community of people to be connected to." And I'm like, "Listen, and I wasn't trying to get her into the group necessarily or anything like that. I was just saying, like, it's necessary. We all need a community. We all need a safe place. And if you don't have people that have gone a little bit farther than you, then you don't know what it looks like to get to the other side, right? And so that's really why we are doing this challenge. The Women's Month one, yes, we want to celebrate women. We want to celebrate this whole moment in time that we know that God is arising women, raising women up. And we want to begin to help build that foundation, while helping you understand your identity at it. So I want to talk about really quick some of the amazing things that's going to be included in this month. Selena already mentioned the women's events that we're going to have, the brunch, and there'll be another surprise event. She also mentioned the 15-minute counseling and coaching. You get two of those with her, and you get two of those with me, right? And that, I think when I totaled that out, it was like worth $194, right? And I'm not trying to pull that, but I'm just letting you know that this is like we want to give as much to you as we possibly can. And not only that, you're going to get weekly teachings.
Yep.
Amen. You're going to get weekly
Mhm.
teachings and encouragement and an opportunity to be in a group setting. And we're going to be uploading some resources as well, some tools. This is not just for the person, the woman or whatever that's, there's a mission to this. So these are the people who have a mission, who's in missions. Selena has missions background. The women that are married, right? This is women in the marketplace. I'm a woman in the marketplace, and women in ministry. We both are women in ministry. And so we
Mhm.
want to help prepare you and cultivate an atmosphere where you can begin to find the foundation of your identity,
Mhm.
build up and go out, be sent out, right? Be
Mhm.
go out to feel the confidence to
Mhm.
do that, right?
That's so good. And we also, like she said, we want to create a safe space where you feel comfortable to begin to exercise your voice, to be able to ask for the help that you need, to be in a place where we're not the only ones that's encouraging, but we get encouragement from back and forth. That is what community is. And Pastor Paul, I just left earlier this morning, taught about community and the importance of kingdom community and what that does to the body, just to uplift one another. And so we're really excited to be walking alongside you guys. Like we said, Identity Unlocked in November was amazing.
It
If you didn't
was.
get a chance to come out, we're praying that God will allow us to do it again. But be a part of this challenge this month. Join us. Be able to come out to the events. I mean, it was a powerful evening that we did. It really was.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I don't know, there had to be like 20 or 21 women, 22 women there. And we really didn't have any idea of what we were just walking into. We just were like, Holy Spirit, have your way. And God really showed up in a really amazing way. We didn't know like if we were gonna have to have pray. We didn't know what we knew we were gonna pray, but we didn't know we had to do individual prayer. We just came and showed up to be obedient. Selena talking about removing the root. I had a whole catwalk to see women walking bold, and I was literally watching like who got their head down because I'm already, you know what I'm saying? Like we were like very intentional about making sure that that atmosphere felt like it was cultivated for each individual woman that was in there, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's what we want to make sure that we do through this month's challenge. We're also There's also going to be a surprise challenge as well for the whole month. That's going to help give you some accountability on reaching some of these goals. Because
Yeah.
this is the thing, y'all. This is God. Listen, God is. We always say we're waiting on God, but at the end of the day, I really believe that God is saying, "I'm waiting on you."
Yes.
Um, and the reality is that we keep saying what we're gonna do, but there's no action behind it. We keep saying what we're
Mhm.
gonna do, but we don't put our foot in front of the next step, and we want this big picture, but God ain't always gonna give us the next picture. And sometimes we find ourselves back in our prayer closets asking God for the next instruction, and God is saying, "Listen, I already gave you the first instruction, but you didn't do it yet." And so this is also going to deal with those goals that you said you were gonna set, or things that you said you were going to do, to be held accountable. Because the reason why you don't hold yourself accountable is, one, you don't realize how powerful and how anointed and how necessary and how needed you are in the earth. If you really understood that you are a part of the body, you are hands and feet of the body of God, of Christ, then you will recognize that my contribution is
That's
necessary, that
it.
everything that's on the inside of me is needed, that God has called a particular people to me. And if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, guess what? He gonna find somebody else, because his plans will never be thwarted. His promises are always going to be yes and amen. And so therefore, if he don't get to use you, but he wants to use you, he gonna find somebody else. It might be a little bit of a delay for that next person, but why would I want to be a delay? If I love my brother, if I love my sister, why do I want to be a delay? And it's no pressure. It's a matter of you just owning, ownership, stewardship, embracing. And so it's about, yes, accountability is necessary. It's about a action of a level of accountability, and also you understanding your identity and who you are in God.
That's so good. Accountability is necessary, but let me help you understand how what accountability is. So, as I'm helping you to see that accountability is necessary and that it's not an attack, a lot of people think that holding somebody accountable is like attacking them, but that's because something you experienced that sounded like accountability or you thought was accountability was an attack. So let's get the mind and the thought process behind that accountability is necessary and that it's not an attack. A lot of people shy away from accountability. And so let me help you not shy away from that as we encourage accountability in the group.
Yeah, yeah. That's so good. Accountability, yeah. Sometimes, and because I think sometimes we can attest accountability as something that somebody was telling us we need to do,
Right.
versus a place of love and saying, listen, I know what God has put in you, and I know what He's called you, and I want to make sure that you know that you are loved enough by me and everybody else around you that we want to see you do it. Because I think a lot of us, we be in rooms, if we could be honest, some of us be in rooms where people ain't never did nothing, right? That people that have never had an action. And so we don't think so. Because of that, we find ourselves shrinking back and we don't go forth in it because you didn't see your mama do it, you didn't see your sister do it, you didn't see your auntie do it, and so you be like, well, I don't guess I'm gonna do it. Maybe you the breaker, maybe it's you, maybe
Mm-hmm.
God want to use you. And so we there's that aspect, and then there's of course the aspect of somebody trying to get you to do something. It's like, that's I'm not ready for that. But this is an atmosphere of love, and so we want to make sure that we pour that out, so that you don't go back. And it's funny, honestly, I guess this is the theme of the message today, of the messages today, but so that you just don't go back, that you don't turn around, that you don't put down what God has entrusted you with and has placed in your hand and say, I know you're gonna do something with this. So anywho, um, we want you to join. The challenge actually starts on May 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's from May 6th to May 31st. You can
March.
March, sorry, girl. Wait,
you
ooh,
thinking
look,
you
check
thinking
me
your
on
other
that. Check me
event.
on that. Right. So here's the QR code. You can definitely scan it. And let me just tell you this. It could be one person that signs up. Honestly, it doesn't make any difference to me. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we go after the one. We go
That's
after
it.
the one. Whoever God wants us to go after, that's the person that needed this. Whether this, even if in our events, I remember when we did the first identity unlock event, it felt like it was taking forever to
Yeah,
sell our first ticket. And I was like, I just remember hearing God say, whoever this, regardless of who shows up, you gonna show up.
that's
You
it.
gonna show up. And so we gonna be there. We just waiting on you. And so I pray that you feel comfortable, you feel safe, to sign up with us and to come and to just get the accountability and get the unlocking to
I'm so
embrace your identity.
excited.
I
No,
am too.
this is my love. I love us working together and I love to see the light come on in women. I
Yeah,
love to see when we establish or identify that root that's been holding you all this time and to see the
yeah,
light and watch them move forward and finally walk in their assignment unapologetically. So we're
yeah,
really excited about this challenge
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's close to my heart, and I'm not gonna hold people too much longer. We've already been on for almost 30 minutes, but this is close to my heart. Like if anybody knows me and knows my story, they know that I struggled with my identity for a long time. And because I struggled, when I finally got free of a lifestyle that God never called me to be in, okay, for after 30 years, okay. I struggled because that level, that identity issue that followed me, it followed me and I struggled. And so I finally became free. And so God started like slowly showing me what was in me. And I'd be like, wait, I could do that. I could do this. And I remember back in, I think it had to be like 2017, I started just getting this understanding like, man, like so many people are sitting on the couch and they see people walking by and they think that everything's for them, those people, but God ain't put nothing in them. And that was me. And it was because I was dealing with the falsity of who I was. And when God finally started breaking me free, He didn't give it all to me at once, but he slowly started beginning to give it to me in a way that I was like, oh, I get it. And I one of my understandings is always going to be is that the thing that you struggle with the most is the thing that you're called to. And so that's why for me, I am so passionate about women understanding who they are. Because I know what it's like to be bullied. I know what it's like to not feel like you have nothing. I know what it's like to see people around you not do anything. So you think that's your story too, and it's not. It's not. God has called you to do something. He's giving you a mandate. He's giving you the mantle of the Holy Spirit to fulfill it. But if you don't know that, if you have not come into the awareness and understanding of that, then you're gonna keep going backwards. You might get a quick dream. You know, I love me some dreams, Selena. Right? I love when the Lord speaks through a dream. You might, and then that might give you encouragement, but it's gonna be hard to steward and hold on to that dream if you don't realize that, man, that was for me. That was for me.
Good.
So
Wow. Well,
so
y'all know
yeah.
we can do this all day, and we have 30 minutes in. We thank you all so much for joining us today. And please remember, click the QR code. Please share the link. We've
Yeah.
been posting and we'll continue to post it. Share it with your networks, on your pages, with women that you know that could truly benefit from this challenge. And of course, we'll
Yeah.
have more to come.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, please reach out to myself or reach out to Selena, or you can email Identity Unlock Experience. Oh, no, it's not. It's Identity Unlock exp at gmail.com. If you have any questions, and let us know and we'd be happy to answer it. So we could do this all day, but we not. So we love y'all. Have a wonderful day. May the joy of the Lord just continue to be your strength, and be blessed.
Bye.